welcome back to my channel. Just a little bit of news before I get started with this video. I'm actually moving. I'm going to be in a new place to live and record, so my next few videos may take a while to come out, but don't worry, I'm fully on it and I'll be in a nice new kitchen. So there you go. Keep an eye out on my Instagram because I'm sure I'll be documenting the move, as exciting as it is. But in the meantime, this video is going to be my last video filming here. So I thought it was a good chance to show you how to do the watercolour texture kind of technique on cakes. I've been trying it out a few times if you've seen on my Instagram, and lots of you want to know how I do it, so I thought I'd do a little video to show you how. I'm actually decorating a dummy cake. This is because I was desperate to show you this video, but I haven't got the chance to make a cake in advance, and I was like, oh, I could just do it on a dummy cake. So I've actually put below where I get my dummy cakes from. It is a UK store, I believe, but they're basically polystyrene, and once you've got the buttercream on, you can decorate it exactly like a normal cake. So it's kind of a two-in-one tutorial. So I've gone over this dummy, which is a 6-inch, with one layer of buttercream, and I'm going to go over it with a second layer. What I'm also going to do is teach you how to do a kind of textured corner to the tier. Again, you may have seen it on a photo that I uploaded recently, but it's kind of a rustic edge rather than a clean finish like this, basically. So without further ado, I'm going to get some buttercream and spread it all over this tier. And what you'll notice when and if you ever decorate a dummy is that they're really light, so they do have the tendency of moving around, which is why I've kind of got my finger on the boards to make sure it doesn't move, because obviously sponge cake and buttercream or ganache has weight to it. And this is my Swiss meringue buttercream recipe, of course. I think it's actually the best buttercream to use for this technique. American frosting, it doesn't really work as well. You can do it, but I feel like it's not as smooth. So if you are decorating a normal cake, you don't have to do crumb coat and then 2 layers. I've just done the first layer as my crumb coat almost, so this is my second layer. Like always, I'm just going to even out the very top. Now, a new way how I'm explaining how to decorate cakes is there are 2 angles. There's horizontal and vertical, nothing in between. So, on the top, it's horizontal. Note how I'm hardly moving this hand. I am scraping any excess. And for this technique, to get the raw edges, I want the top as flat as possible because I'm not going to be scraping the edges inwards like I would usually. And you can even use your scraper for this. Some people like it because it's a longer edge. You just do one smooth glide, you get a nice flat surface, and always scrape off your excess buttercream. I'll do it a couple more times. And then once you're happy with the top, then you go round the outside, like normal. Scraping, but let's say smoothing more than scraping. You're just smoothing the outside. And what will start to happen is you can see on the corners, the buttercream is pushed upwards. So you can see all here, there's like this buttercream that's pushed up, but because the surface is flat, it's just at the edge, and that's exactly what I wanted to achieve. Go around a few more times until you're happy with the outside. So once you're happy with how the sides look, just assess what the top looks like. I really like this kind of subtle edge it's created, and this is the exact effect that I was after. If you've put too much buttercream, too much may have risen, so you kind of maybe need to scrape it and do the whole process again. But I really like this kind of slight wave of extra buttercream around the outside. If you're doing like a sea or beach themed cake, it's really nice to do this in blue, and then it kind of looks like the sea. But I'm going to be painting it in gold later. I did this on a cake and I absolutely loved it, so I thought I'd share it with you. So I've actually got coloured buttercream here, but before you do anything, this has to go back into a very cold fridge or freezer for this to be completely firm and cold in order to get the texture technique right, basically. I don't actually have a freezer big enough for a cake, so I set my fridge at 0 degrees and I put it in there for about 15-20 minutes, and it is cold enough to then go over with the next layer. So if you don't have a freezer big enough, just do that and it should work the same. So I'm going to take this and put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. Okay, 20 minutes and the buttercream is completely solid. I can tell because when I touch it, nothing comes on my fingers. I can even touch the top here and it's not moving at all, which is perfect. It has to be like this in order to achieve the texture of the buttercream. So I've got a couple of shades of pink here, and I've also got some yellow. You can do whatever colour you like. This is just a tutorial. I'm going to start off with the darker pink. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to start off with the lighter pink. There's no rule for this. It's just kind of let your inner artist come out. But basically, you just need a tiny amount on your palette knife, probably less than that, and you just spread little bits onto the buttercream. Now you can see I'm going in an upward direction. You can also do a sideways direction. And what you'll see is that the buttercream kind of comes off the palette knife in bits. And that's exactly what you want, because you're creating this kind of almost paint kind of brush stroke texture. And you can either concentrate on one side or go around the whole thing, which is what I'm going to do. So again, each time I'm only putting a tiny amount on my palette knife. So you could do small bits, large bits, and because the cake is cold, the small amount of buttercream that you're applying is going to harden straight away. And that is how you achieve this kind of textured appearance. And once you've kind of dotted around the colour, I then go over with a clean palette knife, very loosely, and it kind of creates even more texture. And you can feel how hard the buttercream is getting. That's already looking really cool. I'm now going to go over with a darker pink. Go over some bits where the lighter pink was, or maybe create bits where there isn't any. Again, very small amount each time. And I'm not spreading it hard against the cake surface because I want to build up this texture. I'm literally just kind of placing it on and letting it catch on to any surface it can. Once I've done that, I'll do the same again. I'll go round with the palette knife very lightly, hardly applying pressure. And it kind of smooths it, but also gives it texture. I'm really liking the look of this. Now, I can already feel that the buttercream is getting a bit soft. If I keep putting more bits of buttercream on, the texture and the effect won't be that visible. So I'm going to now put this back in the fridge, because I don't have a freezer, or in your case, if you've got a freezer, then put it back in, and then do another layer. So it's basically playing with the freezer. So it's really fun to do if you're in a massive rush. No, this one really requires patience. So what you don't want to do is put too much on and then ruin it. So you do have to be patient, do a couple of layers, put it back in the fridge or freezer, bring it out again, put some more layers on. And that is basically how you achieve the textured effect. So back into the fridge it goes. Okay, so once again, the buttercream that I applied just before has set. I'm now going to go with the light pink again, just to create even more texture and layers. This is actually why I wanted to start with the lighter colour, because I like going over it again. And the more you work with it and the more practice, you can see how the Swiss meringue buttercream reacts to the cold. It's kind of hard to know when to stop. That's the only thing. But I actually really like how the pink looks now. I've got a few layers on there. And now I'm going to go in with the yellow, but only like a tiny amount. I like just a little bit of contrast in the colours. To be honest, I could probably leave it like this. But watch what happens when I just add little touches of yellow. It just adds a different dimension, basically. And to be honest, I think that's enough. I could probably do 10 more layers if I wanted to, but again, I don't want to get carried away. I also like how you can still see some of the white, so it's not too overpowering, but you get really, really nice texture along there. So now to decorate the top, you can obviously leave it, I'm going to say rustic, with white, but like I said before, I did this recently and I really liked the effect of it. I'm going to paint the outside in gold. So what I have here is just some luster dust with a bit of vodka. If you don't want to use vodka, you can also use lemon juice. Basically, the vodka evaporates, so you get this kind of paint, but then all the liquid goes, and so you're just left with a gold effect, which is really nice. This is also what I paint my gold drips with, another YouTube video which I need to make. And what I'm going to do is just gently brush the very top of the buttercream. It just creates a really nice border. And once again, this needs to be cold, because obviously if it's soft buttercream, you won't be able to paint it. So if you're in a very hot country, for example, you may need to keep it in the freezer for longer. The gold also accentuates the shape of the edge of the cake and make it more obvious that you've gone for this rustic look. So because of the detail that the buttercream has, I like to decorate the cake with less decorations as opposed to my other crazy cakes. So I've got a few meringue kisses here. I'm just going to put them over to one side. And maybe a couple at the bottom. And then I think just a few fresh flowers will just top it off perfectly. So that is how you create textured buttercream on a cake. Again, it depends on the temperature of your kitchen and if you have a freezer or a fridge, but it is a bit of playing around until you get used to it. But I hope you found it helpful. Please give it a go. I would love to see them, and give this edge a go as well. Like at first I was a bit hesitant to do it, but I actually really like the effect, more so than straight, sharp corners. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of those. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like this video and share with your friends. And if you do try it out, remember to tag me on Instagram at Georgia's Cakes, because I love seeing your creations. Like I said, I'm going to be moving, so I might go a little bit quiet for the next few weeks, but don't worry, I will be back with plenty more videos in a new kitchen, and I can't wait to show you what is coming up. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon.